One of the most profound truths I've learned in all my years, it's time to focus on you. Now, isn't that interesting? Most people spend their entire lives focusing on everything and everyone else, but they never take the time to focus on themselves. You see, personal development isn't selfish, it's necessary. When the flight attendant tells you to put your oxygen mask on first before helping others, they're teaching you a fundamental principle of life. You can't pour from an empty cup. Here's what's fascinating. Most people are so busy trying to change their circumstances that they forget to change themselves. But here's the key. If you want your circumstances to change, you must change first. Everything in your life will begin to transform when you make the decision to focus on your own growth. Let me tell you something profound. In my early years, I was struggling, making $57 a week, and I was blaming everyone else for my situation. Then Mr. Schoaf taught me this valuable lesson. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. Now, here's what's interesting about focusing on yourself. It requires discipline. And discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Most people want to skip the discipline part, but that's impossible. You see, we must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. Let me share something with you about personal development. It's like a building. You start with the foundation. You can't build a skyscraper on a weak foundation. The same is true for your life. You can't build extraordinary success without first developing yourself. Here's what's remarkable. When you focus on you, everything else begins to fall into place. Your relationships improve because you become a better person. Your income improves because you become more valuable. Your happiness improves because you become more fulfilled. Now, let me ask you something. How many books did you read last year? Don't tell me you don't have time. The average American watches 4 hours of television every day. You tell me you don't have time to read? No, you don't have priorities. Success is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. Let me tell you something fascinating about focusing on yourself and your future. You see, 5 years from now, you will be the same person you are today except for two things: the books you read and the people you associate with. Isn't that interesting? Most people think the future is something that just happens to them. But successful people understand that the future is something you design through the decisions you make today. Every decision you make, every book you read, every skill you develop, it's all creating your future. Here's what's profound. Your future is not determined by your past. It's determined by what you do right now. Most people are so busy regretting yesterday that they forget to design tomorrow. But when you focus on your personal development today, you're literally investing in your future self. Let me share something remarkable with you. In all my years of studying successful people, I've never met anyone who was successful by accident. Success leaves clues, and one of the biggest clues is this: successful people invest in themselves consistently. Now, here's what's interesting about personal development. It compounds. Just like money in the bank earning interest, personal growth compounds over time. The skills you learn today stack upon the skills you learned yesterday. The knowledge you gained this week builds upon the knowledge you gained last week. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5 years. Why? Because they don't understand the power of compound growth. When you focus on yourself consistently, even making small improvements each day, the results over time are extraordinary. Let me ask you something. What would your life look like 5 years from now if you invested just 1 hour a day in personal development? That's 365 hours a year. In 5 years, that's 1,825 hours of focused self-improvement. Do you think that might make a difference in your life? Here's what's fascinating. Most people never make this investment in themselves. They'll invest in their homes, their cars, their clothes, but they won't invest in their own development. They'll spend 4 hours watching television, but won't spend 30 minutes reading a good book. Let me share something powerful about focusing on yourself and your income. You see, your income is directly related to your personal value in the marketplace. The marketplace pays for value, and that value is directly tied to your personal development. Here's what's fascinating. Most people want to increase their income, but they never increase their value. They say, I want to make more money, but they're not willing to become more valuable. Isn't that interesting? They want the rewards without the responsibility. Let me tell you something profound that Mr. Schoaf taught me. Don't wish for more money, wish for more wisdom. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. You see, when you increase your skills, when you increase your wisdom, when you increase your value, the money naturally follows. Now, here's what's remarkable about focusing on yourself. Your income can grow only to the extent that you do. Most people think it's the other way around. They think, when I make more money, then I'll invest in myself. But that's backwards thinking. Let me share something that changed my life. I used to work for $1.50 an hour. Then I started working on myself, and now I earn thousands of dollars for an hour of my time. The difference, not the economy, not the marketplace, the difference was me. I became more valuable. Here's what's interesting about personal value. It's not about time. The marketplace doesn't pay you for your time. It pays you for the value you bring to that time. You can work 8 hours a day and barely survive, or you can work 8 hours a day and prosper. The difference is not in the hours, it's in what you bring to those hours. Most people are trading time for money, but successful people trade value for money. And the only way to increase your value is to focus on your personal development, to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Let me ask you something. If someone followed you around for a week, would they want to trade their income for yours? Would they want to trade their lifestyle for yours? Would they want to trade their value for yours? These aren't just casual questions. They're measurements of your marketplace value. You see, your income is a byproduct of your value. Want to double your income, double your value. Want to triple your income, triple your value? The formula is simple, but most people never apply it. Let me tell you something fascinating about focusing on yourself and relationships. Most people think relationships fail because of what happens between two people, but the truth is relationships fail because of what doesn't happen within one person, personal growth. Here's what's interesting. People often say, I need to find the right person. But here's the key. You need to become the right person. You attract what you are, not what you want. Isn't that remarkable? Your relationships are a direct reflection of your personal development. Let me share something profound that changed my perspective. If you want better relationships, you don't need better techniques. You need to become a better person. Most people spend their time trying to change others, but successful people focus on changing themselves. Now, here's what's fascinating about personal development and relationships. When you grow, your relationships grow. When you become better, your relationships become better. When you change, your relationships change. It's an extraordinary principle that most people never grasp. Let me ask you something. If you met someone exactly like you, would you want to be their friend? Would you want to be married to someone exactly like you? Would you want to work with someone exactly like you? These aren't just hypothetical questions. They're mirrors reflecting your current level of personal development. You see, the quality of your relationships is directly proportional to the quality of your personal growth. Want better friendships? Become a better friend. Want a better marriage? Become a better spouse. Want better business partnerships? Become a better partner. Here's what's remarkable. When you focus on your own growth, you naturally attract better relationships. It's like you're operating on a different frequency. You start attracting people who share your commitment to growth, who challenge you to become better, who inspire you to reach higher. Most people spend their lives trying to find the right relationships, but successful people focus on becoming the right person. They understand that who you attract is a direct result of who you are. Let me share something crucial. Your relationships will never exceed your personal development. If you want extraordinary relationships, you must become an extraordinary person. If you want meaningful connections, you must become a meaningful person. Let me tell you something powerful about focusing on yourself and your mindset. You see, your mindset isn't just what you think, it's how you think. And how you think determines everything in your life. Here's what's fascinating. Most people want to change their results without changing their thinking. But that's impossible. Einstein said you can't solve problems with the same thinking that created them. Isn't that interesting? Your current results are a perfect reflection of your current thinking. Let me share something profound that changed my life. Your mindset is like a garden. You can't just pull out the weeds, negative thoughts. You must also plant flowers, positive thoughts. Most people focus on what they don't want, but successful people focus on what they do want. Now, here's what's remarkable about personal development and mindset. When you work on yourself, your thinking naturally elevates. You start seeing possibilities where others see problems. You start finding opportunities where others find obstacles. You start creating solutions where others create excuses. Let me ask you something. If your mindset was a room, would others want to spend time there? Is it filled with light or darkness? Is it filled with possibility or limitation? Is it filled with gratitude or complaints? These aren't just casual questions. They're measurements of your mental environment. You see, your mindset is the foundation of everything you achieve. Want better results? Develop a better mindset. Want bigger achievements? Develop a bigger mindset. Want more success? Develop a success mindset. Here's what's interesting about mindset development. It's a daily practice. You can't go to one seminar and expect to maintain a growth mindset forever. You can't read one book and expect to maintain a success mindset permanently. It requires constant cultivation. Most people let their mindset develop by default, but successful people develop their mindset by design. They understand that your mind is like a muscle. It grows stronger with exercise, with challenge, with consistent training. Let me share something crucial. Your mindset isn't just about positive thinking, it's about productive thinking. It's not just about feeling good, it's about getting good results. It's not just about motivation, it's about transformation. Here's what's interesting. Most people never decide their habits, they simply accept them. But successful people understand that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Small habits practiced every day create extraordinary results over time. Let me share something profound that changed my perspective. You can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. And the direction you're heading is determined by your daily habits. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year of consistent habits. Now, here's what's remarkable about personal development and habits. When you focus on improving yourself, you naturally develop better habits. You start making choices not based on convenience, but on growth. Not based on comfort, but on progress. Let me ask you something. If someone followed your habits for a year, would they be closer to success or further from it? Would they be healthier or less healthy? Would they be wiser or less wise? These aren't just theoretical questions. They're measurements of your habit patterns. You see, your habits are the building blocks of your destiny. Want a better future? Build better habits. Want different results? Develop different habits. Want extraordinary success? Cultivate extraordinary habits. Here's what's fascinating about habit development. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. You don't have to make dramatic changes all at once. Small changes consistently applied create massive results over time. Most people try to change too much too fast, but successful people focus on changing one habit at a time. They understand that habits are like dominoes. When you change one fundamental habit, it naturally leads to changing others. Let me share something crucial. Your habits aren't just what you do, they're who you're becoming. Every habit is a vote for the type of person you want to be. Every action is a step toward your future self. You see, life is a constant stream of decisions, and the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your decisions. Isn't that interesting? Here's what's fascinating. Most people make decisions based on their current circumstances, but successful people make decisions based on who they want to become. They understand that every decision you make today is creating your tomorrow. Let me share something powerful that changed my life. Your decisions reveal your priorities. When you decide to watch TV instead of reading a book, that's a priority decision. When you decide to sleep in instead of working out, that's a priority decision. When you decide to spend instead of invest, that's a priority decision. Now, here's what's remarkable about personal development and decision making. When you focus on improving yourself, your decision making naturally elevates. You start making choices not from where you are, but from where you want to be. Let me ask you something. If someone looked at your decisions from the past week, what would they say about your priorities? What would they say about your values? What would they say about your future? These aren't just casual questions. They're measurements of your decision-making patterns. You see, every decision you make is like a fork in the road. One path leads to who you are, and the other path leads to who you could be. Most people choose the familiar path, but successful people choose the growth path. Here's what's interesting about decision making. It's not just about making the right decisions, it's about making your decisions right. Sometimes you'll make the wrong choice, but if you're committed to personal growth, you'll learn from every decision. Most people make decisions based on fear, but successful people make decisions based on growth. They understand that the best decisions aren't always the easy ones. They're the ones that push you to become better. Let me share something crucial. Your decisions aren't just choices, they're investments in your future self. Every time you choose personal development over instant gratification, you're investing in who you're becoming. You see, most people are living far below their potential, not because they don't have it, but because they don't develop it. Isn't that fascinating? Here's what's remarkable. Your potential isn't a fixed point, it's an expanding horizon. The more you grow, the more you realize what's possible. Most people think they know their limits, but they only know their limitations, and there's a big difference. Let me share something profound that Mr. Schoaf taught me. Don't let your earning ability be a cap on your learning ability. You see, what most people call their potential is usually just their comfort zone. But your potential lies far beyond your comfort zone. Now, here's what's interesting about personal development and potential. When you focus on growing yourself, you start discovering abilities you didn't know you had. It's like turning on lights in a dark house. Each room you illuminate reveals more rooms to explore. Let me ask you something. If there were no limitations, what would you attempt? If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? If you had all the resources you needed, what would you create? These aren't Cheemer's questions, they're explorers' questions about your potential. You see, your potential is like a muscle. It grows when you stretch it. Most people never discover their true potential because they never push beyond what's comfortable. They settle for what's easy instead of striving for what's possible. Here's what's fascinating about potential. It's not about what you can do today. It's about what you could do tomorrow if you started developing yourself today. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day, but underestimate what they can do in a year of focused growth. Most people think potential is about natural talent, but successful people know it's about developed ability. They understand that what you're born with is just the starting point. It's what you do with it that counts. Let me share something crucial. Your potential isn't just about achieving more, it's about becoming more. It's not just about doing bigger things, it's about becoming a bigger person. Here's the culmination of everything we've discussed. When you focus on yourself, your mindset, your habits, your decisions, your potential, success becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Not because the path becomes easier, but because you become stronger. Let me share this final truth that changed my life forever. Success is not about what you have, it's about who you are. It's not about what you get. It's about what you become. Most people spend their lives chasing success, but they should be chasing growth. Because when you grow, success follows naturally. Now, here's my final challenge to you starting today. Make a commitment to yourself. Commit to reading 30 minutes every day. Commit to associating with people who lift you higher. Commit to developing one new skill every quarter. Commit to becoming the person who deserves the success you desire. Remember this, life will pay whatever price you ask of it. If you ask for pennies, it will pay you pennies. If you ask for dollars, it will pay you dollars. But here's the key, you don't ask with your words, you ask with your actions. You ask with your personal development. You ask with your growth. So let me leave you with this final thought. 5 years from now, you will surely arrive. The question is, where? That will be determined by what you do with yourself starting today. Will you drift to wherever life takes you? Or will you develop yourself and design your destination? The choice is yours. But remember this, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. So my friends, it's time. It's time to focus on you. It's time to develop yourself. It's time to grow. It's time to become more, because when you become more, you can do more. When you do more, you can have more. And when you have more, you can give more. That's what personal development is really about, becoming someone who can make a bigger difference in the world. Someone who can contribute more, serve more, achieve more, and inspire more. The time is now. The person is you, and the decision is yours. For some of you, this message has been a reminder. For others, it's been a wake-up call. But for all of you, let it be the moment you decided to make focusing on yourself your number one priority. Because when you do that, when you truly commit to your own growth and development, everything else in your life will begin to change. And that's not just a promise, that's a principle. Thank you, and remember, life is not about finding yourself, life is about creating yourself. Now go forth and create something extraordinary.